This video is going to be a demonstration of a Microsoft Access application running on one machine in one location, saving an invoice out to QuickBooks, running on another machine in a completely different location on the internet. So the first thing we need to look at is where QuickBooks is running. So I'm going to use remote desktop to log on to a server that's completely external to where the Access application is running. And I've installed QuickBooks there and set up a fake company called Nuco. It takes Nuco a minute to load up. You have to click through a few things. And I'll pause the, no, I won't pause the video. Just to make it crystal clear what's going on, we'll take a look. Here we are at Nuco. They're going to take a look at Test Company 2, and we see we've got two invoices, 97 and 98. And after we go run the Microsoft Access application, we'll create an invoice 9999, and we'll come back here and take a look at it. So I minimized the server down here, and now we're going to open up a quick little Microsoft Access application that I wrote to post an invoice. So here's an invoice. We'll alter this a little bit to create a third one out there under that company. But you can see it's got a few header fields, and it's got two line items down here. And even in the header fields, there's a lot of QuickBooks code numbers for things that would be set up in any application that wants to talk to QuickBooks. You'd have to have a QuickBooks setup screen where you interrogate QuickBooks and get back the code numbers for things that are more commonly known as like accounts receivable. You'd say, tell me what accounts receivables ID number is, and it would give the application this number. The user would never see this or have to use it. They would just think of accounts receivable. Terms is probably the code for due upon receipt, things like that. So during setup of the application, these code numbers will get stored behind the scenes, so to speak, in the Access application, or in any application would have to know these code numbers. So enough said on that. Let's just call it invoice all nines. We'll keep all this other stuff the same. We'll make the we'll make it due in a few days, 10, 19, 20. I'm just changing a few things so we can see them, that they really made it over there. So let's do, how about thinking about a construction application, fence, design, consulting. I don't know if anyone ever does that, but we'll do some. And this is a tax code as well. I think this probably means non-taxable. And then we'll do split rail fence, linear feet. Let's do a 400 footer at, how about $8 a foot? And this tax code probably means taxable based on what was in there before. That's my guess. So what we're going to do is hit save to QB, and it'll chug away for a little bit, and then we'll pop over to the server and check out our new invoice. So let's see, the invoice should get a confirmation back. Here it is. QuickBooks transaction ID. Again, this is nothing a user would need to know. This is more me as programmer. This ID posted to QuickBooks. I would say that any application external to QuickBooks that is posting transactions to QuickBooks needs to know the actual QuickBooks transaction ID for audit trail purposes. So while I do say a user would never need to see this, this number here definitely will get stored in the Access application, so that we've got a hard link between an invoice that we see here. I know we have a invoice number up here, but you can create two invoices with the same invoice number. in QuickBooks. You'd never want to do that, but you could. Um, but this transaction ID will be unique, and it was created by QuickBooks, so that's the one that we want to know, and we'll store that with this invoice. So I'm going to just hit OK here, and then pop over, and we'll look at this. So then back on the server, I'm going to click the server, which was minimized down here, and we'll fire QuickBooks back up. Guess I didn't get it clicked. Here it comes. New co. It's going to open up. Click through this. And remember, we created invoice 999 for some fencing. And we did it for the second test company. So let me get rid of this main QuickBooks window. So test company 2 now has a third invoice, all nines. And again, I didn't put in tons of information, but enough to show that it works. So we had consulting hours that was non-taxable, you might remember, and then some 400 feet at $8 a foot. So you all know how an invoice works. And that's the end of the demo. If we were to go back into the Access application and delete this invoice, it would be deleted from QuickBooks. So there's a tight connection between Access and QuickBooks.